Hello my friends, welcome to my channel, Lindy's Magpie Reads, and this is my Friday Reads where I'm going to tell you about what I've finished recently. If you're new here, I'm Lindy and I read a lot, about one book a day. I always have lots of books to talk about, and today I have a few other things as well, starting with Lambda Literary Awards. The finalists have been announced. They've got so many categories. I'm only going to mention a few of them. I will link below if you're interested in the whole list. If you're looking for titles for March Mystery Madness and you want queer content, check out their mystery finalists. There's a middle grade category if you're doing middle grade March, and Trans Girl April is coming up, and there are several categories devoted entirely to transgender literature. So lots of possibilities there. I happen to be in the midst of several that are mentioned on the list, including this one by a Canadian playwright, Époque, and it's actually two plays, both adaptations of ancient Greek plays, Sophocles and Euripides. One is Antigone and the other is Iphigenia and the Furies on Taurian land. And I'm only partway through. I'll tell you more about it when I finish. This is on the LGBTQ plus drama finalist, but I actually picked it up because it was a finalist for a Governor General Award in drama. And this book is in the lesbian memoir biography category for the Lambdas. And I picked it up because my Lesbian Plus book club is discussing it at the end of the month. It's called Ma and Me. It's by Putzatariang. More about this to come, probably next week. And I also picked up a book specifically because it is on the Carol Shields Prize long list. Thank You, Mr. Nixon by Gish Jen. It's a collection of short stories. I've only read the first so far. Really liking it. And there's another one that I picked up at the bookstore on account of Carol Shields' Prize, When We Were Sisters by Fatima Ashgar. And I am saving this one for Trans Girl April, so I will be reading it very soon. The shortlist for the Carol Shields Prize, by the way, is going to be announced on April 6th. The long list is the most exciting part to me, however, just with all the possibilities. So, it's March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I don't celebrate. I'm not Irish or Celtic or anything like that. But I did decide to put on green for the occasion. And I have a couple of Irish authored books to tell you about. And oh yeah, I went to get my hair cut and the salon was decorated for St. Patrick's Day. Can you believe it? Yeah, so first off is an unusual blend of prose and poetry and travel writing. It is called If the River is Hidden, and the two authors are Cherry Smyth and Craig Jordan Baker. One of them is Catholic, one is Protestant. Both have roots in Northern Ireland. I think it was in 2021 that they decided to walk the entire length of the River Bann, which is in Northern Ireland. And the text, in addition to talking about the landscape and the people and the towns that they go through, there's also the issues of politics and, well, in the case of Craig Jordan Baker, he grew up in England, but never feeling English enough. But when he visited his relatives in Ireland, he didn't feel Irish enough. So there's that going on. And there's also the whole issue of Brexit and what to do about the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. So lots of different issues, lots of wonderful language, including all of these Ulsterisms, like go foot for leg, meaning to go fast, and holding a hard cheek, keeping secrets, and yeah, other words like that. This just came out at the end of 2022, and I got a review copy from the publisher, Époque Press. So I want to thank the publisher for sharing that with me. It was a very enjoyable read. I was able to relate especially to the walking aspect because I have gone on 3 long-distance walking trips with a friend. There is a unique quality to traveling through landscape at a pedestrian pace, and the time that you have to think about things and not just about blisters on your feet. But I guess it's the pilgrim aspect to it. Yeah, all of the time to reflect, which we perhaps don't get enough of in our everyday lives. And the second Irish authored book was actually an audiobook that I listened to by Keegan called Walk the Blue Fields. Speaking of walking, this is a collection of short stories. I've also read an earlier collection, Antarctica. I liked this one better. Only one of the stories is set in the US. The rest of them are set in small town or rural Ireland. And she captures regular people so well. Even when they're on the eccentric side, like live with a goat in their house, they seem so real and I care about them. In The Parting Gift, here's a passage. Your father moved into the other room, but your mother gave him sex on his birthday. She'd go into his room and they'd have it there. It never took long and they never made noise, but you knew. So simple language, but she knows how to grab my attention, that's for sure. There were 3 different audiobook narrators, by the way. Aoife McMahon, Aidan Kelly, and Aidan Quinn. I liked it quite a bit. Many of you will be familiar with Claire Keegan's novella, I think it's called Small Things Like These, about a Magdalene laundry. And I recently attended a live performance of a bunch of Joni Mitchell's songs, including that one. I will link to a YouTube video below where you can hear her perform it and talk about the song itself and why she wrote it. But in this performance that we were at, the character who was playing Joni Mitchell said that when she sang that song, somebody from the audience chastised her, said, you know, you're not Irish, why are you talking about Irish things? And then said, but it was well put, or something along those lines. People are strange, that's all there is to it. Around the world, we all have our quirks. And speaking of around the world, I have this fabulous picture book to tell you about, Girl on a Motorcycle. It's written by Amy Novesky, who's an American author, and the wonderful Canadian illustrator, Julie Morstad. It's about a real person, Anne-France d'Hauteville. And in 1973, she went on a solo motorcycle trip around the world. She flew from Paris to Montreal and crossed Canada and up into Alaska and flew from there to Tokyo and made her way across Asia and Europe all the way back to France. There's additional information about d'Hauteville at the back. She's still alive, living just outside of Paris. It says that she sold her motorcycle when she was 72 years old. She's in her late 70s now. She was 29 when she made this journey, so not a girl, but oh, the adventures that she had, the challenges she faced, running out of gas, having flat tires, mechanical troubles, severe weather, all of those sorts of things, but also the wonderful people that she met. d'Hauteville wrote about her adventures, and this is translated from something that she said. I want the world to be beautiful, and it is beautiful. I want people to be good, and they are good. And Novesky writes at the end, what I wish for all young citizens of the world, for every human being on this incredible planet, is the ability and freedom to travel, to wander, and to lust for elsewhere, to meet people, to experience through their own eyes and hearts that the world is beautiful and good, because I believe, dear reader, that it is. In 2002, when I was 42 years old, I traveled around the world for 12 months working on organic farms, and I've met so many wonderful people along the way, and this story brought back great memories. Next up is a Canadian novel that won the Giller Prize in 2017, Bellevue Square by Michael Redhill. I did this as a buddy read with Jolene of Bookworm Adventure Girl. Jolene is also not a girl, by the way. She's a woman. This is a wild ride. It is warm and funny. It's about family and community, and it is also extremely strange. There are doppelgangers, there's trans-dimensional cookery, there's murder, there's, well, as you can guess, Bellevue, by the title, a lot about mental illness in it, and it is quite a existential sort of puzzle. I was glad that I had Jolene to bounce off questions and ideas with. The central character, Jean, has a bookshop, and she's such a great character. She's an unreliable narrator, but she is wonderful, and I loved her family too, and I was willing to go wherever she went as she tried to sort out this doppelganger situation. So much fun. And a little bit of mayhem, I guess. If you're not into fantastical elements in your literary fiction, maybe this isn't for you. But if what I've said so far interests you, then do give it a try. I looked to see what other books were shortlisted when this won the Giller. And I'd actually, counting this one now, I've read 4 out of the 5. There's Transit by Rachel Cusk, and I Am a Truck by Michelle Winter, and Son of a Trickster by Eden Robinson. all books that I recommend, actually. And then I looked at who was on the jury. Well, lo and behold, the person that I thought, or the author that I thought is most similar in writing style to this particular book is Andre Alexis, who wrote 15 Dogs and many other great books. He was one of the jurors, and so was Anita Rao Badami. And coincidentally, she is currently on the jury for the Carol Shields Prize. I don't know if she is a fan of magical elements in her realism, but we shall see what happens with that prize. Since I've been a member of the Gillers Shadow Jury for a few years, I'm paying a lot more attention to judges and what kind of taste they have, because of course picking a best book is so very subjective, isn't it? Anyway, I have one more book to tell you about. The best book that I have read this year, and that is Alberta Alone by Cora Sandel. It's translated from Norwegian by Elizabeth Rokkan. It was published in 1939. It is a classic, the third in a trilogy. I did this as a buddy read with the wonderful Maya of Marilyn Maya Mendoza. We started reading this on February 9th and went through very slowly. There aren't chapter divisions, but there are spaces between paragraphs to indicate where there's a pause, and then every 10 to 30 pages there are 3 asterisks in a row. It's called a dinkus. And so we would stop at those places and go back and look at all that was going on in this story. The writing is superb. If you are a person who reads for language, you want to pick this up. Oh. If you're a person who reads for character, pick this up. If you're a person who reads for setting, pick this up. And the plot is good too. So it's got everything. It starts out with a group of people who are staying in a summer house right on the beach in Brittany, in France. When they're all there are 6 adults and 2 children, and the place isn't very big. So there are some frictions going on, and there are also perhaps some romantic attractions between the members. There are 2 painters, a sculptor, and a couple of writers. So there are a bunch of artistic people who don't have a lot of money. The main character, Alberta, we are really in her head a lot. Her rich inner life as she figures out how to be a writer that she wants to be, but her struggles to write. It's painful even to read about them. They say that this is quite autobiographical. She was raising a little boy who was 6 years old at the start of this story. So being a mother and also wanting to get the creative output and balancing her relationship with the boy's father as well. Oh. It's one of those books that I love so much I can hardly talk about it. You know, I just want to gush and gush and gush. Sean the Book Maniac is the person who brought this book to my attention. Actually, Maya said that she heard about it from him as well. And he did a standalone review of this. So I will link his review below. I know this is going to stick with me for a long time. I'm going to want to reread it. And Alberta is a character that I will never forget. You know, she's just one of those people that are just alive to me. Oh, yeah, great story. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave comments below. I always love to interact with you. If you're new, introduce yourself. I'd love to say hello, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.